I'm Carl Higbie. I've been going to Stanwich now for 25 years, and I still haven't graduated yet. It's a study that goes on for an awful long time. If you ask an average Christian audience in the pews, do you believe in prophecy? You get sometimes a mixed response, which is a little bit disappointing because there is a passage in Ephesians which says God gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, some pastors, and some teachers. Now, we're all very accustomed to seeing the pastors and the teachers in action, but we're not quite so accustomed to seeing the other three, which is disappointing. But I want to encourage you to think in terms of the prophetic at this point, and for that purpose, I'll offer a story. Back in 2013, I had a dream, and it was a dream that took place in a building in Stamford, and I had just bought some furniture. It was a furniture store, of all things, and it was a whole household full of furniture, and the salespeople took the furniture and put it all in one place in the furniture store. And after it was all together and the bill was paid, I went over to gather my furniture. And there, sitting in a sofa right in front of me, was what appeared to be a homeless man. And the saleswoman who helped me out saw this and moved to admonish the homeless man to leave so that I could get my furniture. Well, I, at that point, interjected and said, "No, don't make him leave. That is Jesus." And then I turned around. Right behind me was my wife, Maria. And she said, "Here are your elements." I took the elements and then faced Jesus, and Jesus and I had communion together. Now, there are two interesting things to me about this story. One is that furniture store is exactly the same store that we have bought for the purpose of creating the new church in Stamford. Some of you may have shopped there. It's the Safavea furniture store. And that's where this scene took place. Now, when I had this dream back in 2013, we had only just begun to think about a Stamford location. But Central Stamford was not even being thought of. At that point, it was going to be South Stamford. So because it didn't seem to have any relevance at the time, I totally forgot about the story. And it was only much later that I was looking through my journals for something else entirely, and I came across this dream that I had recorded. And by the way, I encourage everybody to have a journal just for reasons like this. But there are two things that interest me about this. One, of course, is the location, which is what we have chosen to plant the Stamford Church. And we pray often for the building, but we should also remember to pray for the people that will be in that building. And that is, to me, the significance that is even greater, because the end of the dream was communion with Jesus, which is a very much one-on-one experience. And it's hoped that everyone will have such a one-on-one experience in that new Stamford location. I'm reminded of the story of Jesus after his resurrection, walking on the road to Emmaus with two individuals who didn't even recognize him until they got to their communion with Jesus. And I think the passage says they knew him in the breaking of the bread. So may hundreds and hundreds of people come to know Jesus by the breaking of the bread in this new location to be developed in Stamford.